Okay, here's a quick video all about slope, something that you've been learning about for quite some time now. So what is slope? A slope is a measure of a change, and in this case we're just going to be talking about the slope of a line, but as we'll see later, a lot of different functions can have slope. All right, so with a line, slope is the change in the y direction, the horizontal change, divided by the change in the x direction. And slope is identified as a little m, kind of italicized, and we'll write it as the change in y divided by the change in x. That little triangle means delta, and it means change in. We can also write this literally, finding the change through subtraction. So to find the change between two values, we'll subtract y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So that is the formula for slope. And we know that another way to think about slope is the vertical change divided by the horizontal change. So this orange line here, let's find the slope of it. We can see that the slope is positive because from left to right our graph is increasing. What we need to do is identify 2 points, and we'll literally count the vertical change and the horizontal change between them. So I'm going to pick this point here and this point here. I could also use this point. I have a bunch of different things I could do. So if we're traveling from this point to this point, how many are we rising? What is our vertical change? We are going up 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So our rise is 4, so it's a positive vertical change. And our run, we're here. Our run to the right, our horizontal change is 1, 2. And it's to the right, so it's positive. 4 over 2 is 2. What if you picked 2 other points? If you went from this point to this point, you would rise 2 and run only 1, and 2 over 1 is also 2. Okay, let's take a look at our green line. I'm going to go from this point here to this point here. We do have to travel left to right. In this case, our line is going down, it's decreasing, so our slope will be negative. All right, to find the slope, how many are we changing vertically? We are going down just 1 unit. So since we're going down, our vertical change is -1, and our horizontal change is 1, 2, 3. So this slope here is -1/3, and that can't be simplified anymore. I hesitate to write rise over run because I don't want us to think of slope as always rising. Sometimes you're falling, so I like to think about it as a vertical change divided by a horizontal change instead. If rise over run is your jam and that's how you remember it, then feel free to totally use it. All right, let's do an example that's entirely algebraic. Yes, you could always plot these points and count it, but let's just use our slope formula. So I'll rewrite it. Our change in y divided by our change in x. Now it doesn't matter the order that you subtract really at first, as long as you keep the order the same. So if we do 6 minus 4 for our y's, then we have to start at this coordinate point and do 1 minus -3. So I'll do that. We'll do our second y minus our first y. So 6 minus 4. And then our x minus our first x, so 1 minus -3. 6 minus 4 is 2, and 1 minus -3 is 4. And this simplifies to 1/2. 2 common errors that students will make is they will switch and do the x in the numerator. Don't do that. Another common error that students will make is not subtracting a negative correctly. Other than that, it's basically just plugging into a formula. Okay, we do have 4 different types of slope. We already explored a positive and negative slope on our first example. And if we look at a positive slope, it's increasing as we look left to right, and a negative slope, our graph is decreasing as we read it left to right. But the ones that students do tend to forget are when we have a horizontal line like y equals 3, that has a 0 slope. The slope is literally 0. Your vertical change is 0, but your horizontal change is a number. So 0 divided by a number, non-zero number, is 0. For a vertical line, such as x equals -1, the slope is undefined. A vertical line is the only type of line that's not a function either, because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. So just be aware that there are 4 types of slope, and I would definitely take note that a horizontal line has a 0 slope and is of the form y equals a number, hoi, and a vertical line has an undefined slope and is of the form x equals a number, vux. This is just a little acronym to help you remember the difference between horizontal and vertical lines. Our last example, we want to find the slope once more. So we'll use our slope formula, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So our y's are actually the same here, 4 minus 4. And then our x's, now we can see that we're going to get 0 over a non-zero number. In fact, I didn't even really care what this number was, right? This is just 0. So the slope here is 0. Now be aware, if we got 0 in the denominator, that would be undefined. So this slope is 0 here. What type of line is this? This will be a little extra. Well, if we think about hoi vux, a horizontal line has a 0 slope and is of the form y equals a number. So this is a horizontal line, and it's of the form y equals a number. What does y equal? Y is 4. So this is actually the horizontal line y equals 4 that passes through these 2 points. This was extra in yellow. We answered the question up here by finding the slope of 0.